My. Yabba dabba do. Y'all. How y'all doing? Yeah. Y'all, there's a breaking in the Zaire Harris case. Told y'all. Some suspicious thing going on with her case. Because they didn't do their job. But they trying to blame Shannon Harris. Yeah. But before we get started, close that screen door and stop letting all them flies up in here. I can't stand flies. Shout out to all my workers. Thank you, subscribers and viewers for watching and supporting the channel. I appreciate y'all. Because you know we're going to bring it real over here. Yeah. Now, y'all, it's a breaking in the Zaire Harris case. They never, ever investigate the 2022. Yeah. Them folks, I told y'all, them folks ain't been working. They never investigated the 2022 claim involving the Zaire Harris and the alleged killer. They just threw it out the window. Sad, man. Then now they got y'all beating up Shannon Harris for something they didn't do. If they were doing their job, then Nazaria would have been here now. Auntie tried to tell y'all that. Y'all didn't even believe the auntie, the great aunt. The great aunt. I'm trying to tell y'all what was going on. Look, y'all, let's check a look at this. I just want to come in for a minute to give y'all this breaking information, but I'll be back in with y'all later. You know what I mean? Y'all better get y'all feet off of Shannon. They failed. The city of Detroit failed Nazaria.
Detroit police miss a chance to save the life of Nazaria Harris. Records uncovered by the 7 investigators tonight show that they did. Nearly 2 years accused in her murder. And tonight, DPD says they messed up. 7 investigator Ross Jones reveals what went wrong and what's changed as a result.
Mr. Bus targeted and befriended women who had to have sexual relationships with their young daughters. He was a classic and expert groomer and pedophile.
On the same day, Jarvis Butts would be accused of killing and sexually abusing 13-year-old Nazaria Harris, police and prosecutors urged the community to protect its children at all costs.
But when it comes to our children, we must be deliberative, we must be diligent, and laser focused on their safety.
Make strong, good decisions for our children, keep them out of harm's way.
But more than 20 months before Harris ever went missing, Detroit police had been warned that she'd been victimized by Jarvis Butts and failed to ever investigate.
There was enough for me to ask about this item. Yeah, we could have done better. No question.
Last month, we showed you that Jarvis Butts had been the subject of multiple calls to Children's Protective Services, including at least one that named Nazaria Harris as a victim. What we did not know at the time is that CPS wasn't the only agency that had been warned. In April of 2022, in response to a complaint CPS had received, workers there submitted a law enforcement notification, or LEN, to Detroit police. It's an alert to possible criminal behavior that may warrant a police investigation. In this case, the complaint told DPP that there was an incident at a birthday party where a child accused Butts of sexual abuse. Nazaria, and name withheld, reported that Jarvis touched them inappropriately as well. Jarvis is a sex offender and a felon. Nazia's great aunt, Jernell, says she filed a complaint with CPS that ultimately made its way to DPD.
They're the police they're supposed to investigate. I mean, it had all the clues, everything is there.
But the department never did investigate, at least with respect to Nazia. Instead, according to officials, only the other alleged victim named in the report was questioned because CPS only listed her under the victim header, even though Nazia was identified as abuse victim too.
Does that make any sense to you?
No, makes zero sense. Either they didn't read it or they didn't comprehend it. That's my opinion. Tom Berry is a retired Detroit police lieutenant who reviewed the report that bears Nazia's name.
How many victims do you see identified there?
I see 2 for sure, maybe 3. Somebody dropped the ball. It's pretty clear by reading that there's at least 2 allegations of sexual assault there.
Her name was right in the report. At a minimum, the department should reach out to her and at least ask if something happened. But that didn't happen. It did not.
Today, Assistant Chief Charles Fitzgerald makes no excuses, saying much has changed with how the department handles the more than 5,000 LEN reports it receives every year. Unlike when the Nazia complaint came through, he says DPD now interviews everyone identified inside, regardless of whether they're listed under the victim header. Complaints are triaged and are assigned quickly, and missing information, like in this case, Nazia's last name, is ferreted out by investigators.
That's a horrible excuse. We still should have done what we should have done.
The fact that they acknowledge it shouldn't have worked this way, and it took for something so tragic to happen to her, you damn right it shouldn't have worked that way. They should have done their job.
Joanna Morton is one of Nazia's relatives who says she filed complaints with CPS too. She wonders tonight if the 13-year-old's fate might have been different if police never bothered to reach out.
Somebody has to ask for that. They absolutely do. CPS and DPD.
I think the obvious question that a case like this begs is how many other victims or alleged victims in reports like named but never contacted by DPD. Prior to the recent process, I don't know. I would hate to speculate. Do you worry that there are other cases like this? Of course, yeah, for sure.
I don't think it stopped at one child sliding through the crack. They clearly weren't doing their jobs.
We don't know, of course, what Nazia might have said to police if she'd interviewed the other alleged victim who was questioned, made no disclosures of abuse. Jarvis Butts denied he touched anyone who was questioned by police. And he is maintaining his innocence. What's going on, and that's what haunts the family and will haunt the family.
All right, y'all. All right, y'all. Better get to thinking. I'm out.